Hey there, welcome back to Applied Wisdom, Literature for Living Better.
Great to be here.
Today we're jumping into something really practical. It's for anyone looking to kind of level up their game, whatever that game might be.
We've been digging into Dr. Cassidy Preston's Mindset First. It's subtitled, Break Free from the Weight of Results, Play with Confidence, and Perform When It Matters Most.
And this is really for you, the listener, if you're already on that personal growth path, maybe feeling a bit stuck sometimes.
Or just wondering how your own thinking impacts, well, everything you do. Preston's work, it isn't just for athletes, so that's a big part of it.
No, definitely not. It's about how your internal state, your mindset, drives performance in your career, creative stuff, even hobbies.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is basically to unpack the key ideas from the book, find those actionable steps you can start using right now to cultivate this mindset-first approach.
We'll get into why focusing only on results can actually hold you back.
And how shifting that focus, that mindset, can unlock more confidence, more well-being too.
So where does Preston start? He really hones in on this problem, the weight of results.
Right. He argues that society, coaching, it all tends to overemphasize the outcome, the win, the grade, the promotion.
And that creates just immense pressure, doesn't it?
Totally. It leads to this fear of failure, kind of sucks the enjoyment out of things.
See, less likely to take risks.
And your emotions just go up and down, completely tied to whether you succeeded or failed on that one thing.
It's worth thinking about, for you listening, when have you felt that kind of pressure, that weight of needing a specific outcome?
How did it actually affect how you performed? And, maybe just as importantly, how much you enjoyed it.
Preston talks about this creating a kind of vicious cycle.
Explain that a bit. How does focusing on results feed into itself negatively?
Well, the idea is that focusing purely on the result increases the pressure you feel. And that pressure then actually inhibits your natural talent, your learned skills. It tightens you up.
So the pressure itself gets in the way.
Exactly. It can trigger stress responses, physical tension. Maybe your focus narrows, but in a bad way, like on what could go wrong. It actively hinders performance.
Preston uses the classic example of athletes choking under pressure.
Right. But we can probably all relate that to our own experiences, can't we? A big presentation, a difficult conversation.
That feeling of just freezing up or not being able to access what you know.
And this leads to a really key point Preston makes. He says simply trying harder within that flawed, results-obsessed mindset. It's often counterproductive.
So just gritting your teeth and pushing more isn't the answer?
Not usually, no. He advocates for a shift in perspective as being much more effective, changing how you see the situation.
Okay, so that's a really useful insight right there. Instead of just doubling down when things feel tough, maybe pause.
Ask yourself, is my current approach, my mindset right now, actually supporting me? Or is it part of the problem?
So how do we build a more supportive mindset? Preston lays out 3 core pillars. The first is all about understanding your inner world. He calls it awareness.
Yeah, this is foundational. It's about looking inward, understanding your beliefs, noticing your self-talk, and managing your emotions.
Let's break that down. Beliefs. He means those underlying assumptions we have.
Exactly. Often subconscious beliefs, I'm not good enough, or I always mess up when it counts, things that limit us.
And we need to identify those first.
Identify them and then challenge them. Are they actually true? Where's the evidence?
And then self-talk, that internal chatter.
Right. That voice in your head. Is it critical? Is it supportive? Preston emphasizes shifting from that negative inner critic towards more constructive, helpful self-talk.
Like being your own coach in a positive way.
Sort of, yeah. And the third part of awareness is emotional regulation. Recognizing the feelings that come up during performance, anxiety, frustration, excitement.
Not trying to ignore them,
but understanding them. Knowing your triggers, learning to manage those emotions so they don't derail you.
So an actionable insight here for you listening, maybe today. Try to identify just one limiting belief you might hold.
And consciously challenge its validity. Just question it.
And also just pay attention to your self-talk throughout the day. What's the general tone?
Good starting point. The second pillar Preston discusses is redefining success and failure. This is about perspective.
Shifting perspective. So moving away from just the outcome.
Precisely. He suggests focusing more on process goals, things you can actually control, like your effort, your strategy, your preparation.
Things you do, rather than the final result.
Exactly. And also learning goals. What skill do you want to improve? What do you want to learn from this experience?
That feels empowering, because you can't always control the win or the grade.
But you can control your effort. You can control your focus on improvement. And this reframes failure.
How so?
Well, if your goal includes learning, then even if you don't get the outcome you wanted, the experience isn't a total loss. Failure becomes feedback.
An opportunity for growth. It links into that growth mindset idea, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Abilities aren't fixed. Failure is just information to help you adapt and get better next time.
And that must reduce the fear, right? If failure isn't the end of the world, but a learning step.
It totally reduces the stakes in a healthy way. It frees you up to experiment, to try things, which is crucial for actually improving.
So a practical takeaway for your next goal, whatever it is, define the outcome you want, sure. But also
define maybe 2 or 3 process actions you'll focus on, things you commit to doing.
and maybe one thing you specifically aim to learn or improve along the way.
Great idea. Then we get to pillar 3, building unshakable confidence, empowerment.
And Preston argues this isn't just about hype or positive thinking.
No, he says genuine, robust confidence comes from deeper sources. Things like solid preparation, really mastering your process.
Knowing you've put the work in.
Yes. And also acknowledging your past growth, remembering challenges you've overcome, self-awareness, knowing your strengths, and having a strong why.
Your purpose, your motivation behind it all.
Right. So confidence isn't just this vague feeling, it's something you build. It's a skill developed through preparation and building trust in your own abilities.
And he offers practical tools for this.
Things like creating a confidence resume, literally listing past successes, skills developed, challenges overcome.
Reminding yourself of your own track record.
Exactly. Visualization techniques, used properly, positive affirmations, but grounded in reality and preparation.
So an action for today. We've just spent a few minutes reflecting. What challenges have you overcome? What skills have you built?
That's tangible evidence of your resilience, your capacity to grow. Remember that.
So we have awareness, perspective, empowerment. How does this translate into actually performing better? Preston talks about playing free.
Playing free, it's that state of performing without being crushed by expectations or fear, accessing flow, intuition.
Where things just click.
And a clear, prepared mindset is what enables that. It lets you act without inhibition.
So how do we get there more often? He talks about routines.
Yes, pre-performance routines are key, but they should include mental preparation.
Not just physical warm-ups.
Right. Things like setting those process-focused goals we talked about, reviewing your strategy, using visualization.
Maybe some simple breathing or centering exercises to calm the nerves.
Definitely. And then in performance, the focus is on staying present.
Easier said than done sometimes.
For sure. He suggests using focus cues like a word or a physical action to bring yourself back when your mind wanders or distractions pop up.
And what about when you inevitably make a mistake?
Crucial point, develop a mistake ritual. A quick, pre-planned way to acknowledge the error mentally, maybe take a breath, and immediately refocus on the next play, the next point, the next action.
Don't let it linger and spiral.
Exactly. And then post-performance, the evaluation is important. But again, focus on the process and effort.
Not just did I win or lose.
Right. What went well in terms of your process? What could you adjust next time? Extract the lessons, win or lose. Avoid just ruminating on the outcome.
And celebrate the small wins, the effort.
Yes. So an actionable insight. Pick one area where you want more confidence. Work, sport, a hobby.
And then choose one mental prep technique, maybe visualization, maybe setting a process goal to try before the next time you engage in it.
Small steps. Finally, Preston talks about performing when it matters most, sustaining high performance.
And the key isn't some magic ability to rise to the occasion.
Not really. He argues consistent high performance comes from consistently applying these mindset principles day in, day out. It's not an on-off switch.
So mindset development is an ongoing practice, integrated into daily life.
Yes, like physical training. It needs regular attention. He also mentions the value of coaching or mentorship here to help sustain those shifts.
So maybe think about how you could integrate just one mindset-first principle into a routine part of your day. Could be your commute, how you start your workday.
And it's important to remember this isn't just about hitting targets. It's also about well-being.
Ah, right, the connection to mental health.
A mindset-first approach can seriously reduce burnout and stress. When you're focused on process and growth, there's often less anxiety.
You find more enjoyment, maybe even purpose, in the journey itself, not just the destination.
Exactly. Greater life satisfaction overall.
So maybe a final thought for reflection. How could shifting your mindset in one area alleviate stress or increase enjoyment for you right now?
It's a powerful question.
Well, Dr. Preston's Mindset First really offers a fantastic framework, shifting focus from that often stressful chase for outcomes.
To empowering yourself by cultivating your inner game.
The key takeaways really seem to be, your mindset is fundamental. That weight of results can seriously hinder you.
Redefining success around process and learning is incredibly liberating.
Plus, the importance of self-awareness, building that genuine confidence, and focusing on what you can control, those seem crucial.
Absolutely.
So we really hope you, listening, will take some of these actionable insights and just experiment. Try a mindset-first approach in your own life.
What's one small change you might make today or this week?
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into Mindset First. We really hope this conversation provided some valuable wisdom you can apply to live better.
Hope it was helpful.
Stay tuned for the next one. And if this helped you out, please do like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. Thanks again.